Rand Paul back in the news, which is interesting because we haven't seen him since his excoriation of Fauci. There's a number of times that he went against Fauci and the definition of gain of function and whether or not they're funding gain of function research, the Wuhan laboratory. Then he went silent for the past couple of months. And all of a sudden, it's good to see him sort of reemerge and at least challenge this new disinformation board, governance board that's being set up by the Biden administration. It's as if they took 1984 and made it a playbook, an official playbook for the Biden administration. But I'm just,
you would have to be literate.
To
no one in the Biden administration is familiar with science fiction, Tony. I'm telling you, if we could just start there was a guy, somebody who did a big leaflet drop from an airplane in Florida the other day. And it's like, if he could just drop leaflets, for science fiction QR codes to 1984 audiobooks for the people that work over there, they could catch up on the irony that they're producing.
How much do you think Mayorkas actually knows any of those scenarios? The Pentagon Papers, Iran-Contra, weapons of mass destruction. Look, and that's barely scratching the surface. What about the Gulf of Tonkin? What about we just talked about 9/11 tonight? What about the first World Trade Center bomb? What about the babies in incubators? What about
they put the babies in the incubators? All right, here's the Pentagon Papers. Daniel Ellsberg, Rand Corporation. What was the next one he mentioned?
He talked about obviously the weapons of mass destruction.
McNamara.
I mentioned the McNamara. That would be 1968 Gulf of Tonkin.
Yeah, because he said, there's McNamara.
Did he mention McNamara? Okay, so Gulf of Tonkin.
Gulf of Tonkin hoax.
1964. Sorry, way off.
Shadows of Power by Perloff is a book you can read all about it.
James Perloff. Yeah, right. And by the way, McNamara, I think, is on the record. You can find video of him stating that was a lie. That he said that was made up. That there was no. I'm not even sure they had a carrier in the Gulf at that point. I forget. I have to look it up.
It's in that documentary by Errol Morris.
So I remember watching that well over 10 years ago.
Yeah, Unknown Knowns, The Known Unknown, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, it's on the record. It's also, this is Sony Pictures movie. Gulf of Tonkin hoax. So that's we can figure that out.
Destruction is the next.
Mayorkas has better resources than we do. So what was the next one?
Weapons of mass destruction. Colin Powell.
WMD.
So that's for Colin Powell giving his testimony in front of the Senate or Congress by the Senate.
Council on Foreign Relations says it was a war of choice, that there was no Iraq WMDs. So I'm just saying, there's Condi Rice and around. Here's their war.
I think I might have played that during my Logic group, or Colin Powell. No, maybe I chose it for Bush instead. I forget. I think I might have.
Oh, look, here's L. Paul Jerry Bremer.
There he is. Marshall McLennan crisis.
Governor of Iraq lost those billions of dollars off the trucks.
Oh, they're a risk management firm. I thought they had they were a law
so you wouldn't want to watch
reason.
The New American Century documentary film to learn about these things. I think that's also a Perloff joint with the guys I did State of Mind with. Let's see. Look at all these things in this. Check out that film.
I was so confused. For some reason, I thought Marshall McLennan was.
Yeah, there's a lot. The New American Century, I'm pretty sure that's the Perloff. Or there was the Shadow Ring.
They just call themselves professional services firm. I thought they were lawyers.
And so what else did he say? Iran-Contra?
So it's like insurance, investment. It's a whole bunch of shit they do. Iran-Contra, yeah. So Oliver North, his testimony.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm sure Iran-Contra's right here.
How they funnel the money?
There's Colin Powell. Yeah, you just got to follow the money. Go to EATSCO.
How did they funnel the money?
To EATSCO, Egyptian American Transportation Service Corporation. There's one of them. BCCI is another one.
BCCI was the big one there I was going to mention. I forget at HSBC. I don't think they're connected with this.
Now you can go to the Behind the Iran-Contra Affair documentary. You can go to CIA and the Savings and Loan Scandal Part 1. You can go to Clinton Chronicles. You can go to Dope Inc. You can go to Family of Secrets by Russ Baker. What else? There's a whole bunch. Look at the scroll over here. Look at how many sources there are for information on Iran-Contra. How can't Mayorkas know about this? The Mafia, the CIA, and George Bush. See, I told you there was a book called that earlier.
Yep.
Sultan of Brunei to donate money to the Contras. Did he also have a boat that was owned by Adnan Khashoggi of Iran-Contra and later by Trump? Maybe. Let's see. What do you think? Sultan of Brunei donate money. Oh, he paid $85 million for this yacht, the Nabila, which becomes the Trump princess. So just never say never again, everybody, because that's where you know that boat from. It was used in that movie. It's all Ian Fleming and MI6. There you go. Now it belongs to the guy who just lost Twitter because it's the Kingdom 5KR yacht, formerly
it's
Trump
like
princess,
the Village bicycle of yachts,
owned by bin Talal Al-Walid bin Talal, the Twitter dude. See, and here's the article on it. Look at that. It's an interesting history of that yacht. Just saying.
Only what that yacht could
you
tell.
Look into the Trump princess and all you find is Iran-Contra.
What's Iran-Contra? That's arms for drugs. So arms for drugs. Nothing's really changing here in regards to what the power leader into. When we talked about earlier, gods, oil, drugs, and sex. Arms, drugs, oil, slavery in the form of sex slavery. It's all the same shit, man.
And the guy that Trump argues with on Twitter, he sold his yacht to him. So that's the context people don't have when they see.
Reminds me of that South Park episode where it's they do it in a more sort of tongue-in-cheek way, but they do it with
hey, and never let us forget that bin Talal gave away all his money. Get out of here, privacy notice. Where's the look? Meet the Saudi prince giving away all his money. Do you ever see what this dude has? He has like gold 757s and stuff. It's crazy wealth that this dude was rocking before he allegedly gave it away, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, Saudi princes are, from my understanding, some of the richest individuals in the world. But again, that's off the books riches, from my understanding, to a certain extent.
Yeah, because the British gave them their own kingdom.
Yeah,
made them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
they supported the House of Saud, which is also an extreme form. It was the minority form of particular interpretation of Islamic scripture as well.
He donated his $32 billion fortune, Tony. Here it is right here. It's in Fortune, so it must be true.
What did he donate? Like $1 billion of it? Kept the other 31. And how do you know it's only 31 or 32 billion?
Because they told me in Fortune right there, buddy. Then
this
I mean, Fortune, that's just the company that CD Jackson used to run.
That's right, actually. That's a good point. CD Jackson, nothing dirty about Charles Douglas.
Yeah, CD Jackson is helping us out with the YouTube pirate stream because Jules got a suspension. So there.
Here's CD Jackson right here.
Wonder what we played last week. Probably Highwire or something.
Expert in psychological warfare.
Yeah, he was number 2 in like Eisenhower Psy War during World War II, I think. Then he goes on with Project. I don't
Fortune.
know if
Fortune magazine he ran before he did Time Life and took over the Zapruder film.
After World War II, it's interesting. They sort of did the Mockingbird thing, right?
He's a famous star from that 1945 film called The Death Mills by Billy Wilder.
That's what I'm talking about. War. We can't go down that track, but yeah, I get. Yeah,
it might tie to 9/11, such things. Anyway,
yeah, there's a connection there with state-sponsored propaganda, mass
American ruling class at work
stuff. Stockholm syndrome, trauma-based mind control. Trauma-based mind control might be the best description.
What makes the Grand Theft World podcast unique, invigorating, exciting, and informative? Most other podcasts out there are either doing straight up interviews or they're just covering the daily news. They're covering current events from the day they happened. And that is effective. It's useful. It's a great starting point. And then sometimes these current events change during the week past the first story. So we like to give it a little time. You have to wait till some of the dust settles on these stories in order to give them accurate coverage. And the other thing that's really missing in the media landscape is covering the articles that are coming out every day. That's great. That's necessary. But who's bringing in contextual history so that you can understand what has been going on for decades and decades to lead up to the machinations and actions that we see unfolding today? So what we do here on the podcast is we cover current events. Many of these things are censored, but we wait about a week. As a forensic historian, I focused mainly through my career on the history of globalism and collectivism and things that they call maybe the New World Order. there's a lot of facts to these sort of circumstances, groups, events, activities, working groups that they've had over time. So for Grand Theft World listeners, we not only break down the current events, most of which that are censored during the week, we provide you with contextual history, we give you the source notes, the references, we do deep dives, and this really empowers you with an understanding of context and history so that you can make more informed decisions in your life. There's also a community, a membership where you guys can actually ask questions and we can get into the show and share evidence. And there's a town hall weekly for Grand Theft World for those who listen to it and are interested in covering the stories that we don't get to during a 6-hour show. Listening to it an hour a day, you could easily consume the week's news, but you're going to have substance and meaning and context and understanding. And with that, you can make higher quality decisions in your life. So if you're interested in more quality in your life, go to grandtheftworld.com, click podcast at the top, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
These allegations are false.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, folks. This isn't a video game.
What are the most surprising things that you discovered once you started pulling on that thread? Who he was connected to, what institutions he was influential over, what events he participated in?
Come on, man. What are we talking about? Come on, man. No.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
I got this quote because you said you didn't know much about Klaus Schwab. I made it my job to, as soon as this happened, I'm like, okay, this guy's their front man. Let me learn about the official history of the World Economic Forum. I got their 40-year history. I got every book that Klaus Schwab has written or ghostwritten. I went through those books. This is one of the most interesting passages.
Come on, man. Come